Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the public. I'd like to bring the order, meeting to order, please. Welcome and apologies to you all. Welcome and apologies.
So we've got Councillor Searock is not able to come to the meeting tonight, he's not very well. Anyone else is on the Tony Roll? Oh, Tony Roll. I'd like now to make a statement. 13th of November 2017, notice of vacancy in the office of Eastwood Town Council for a councillor for Eastwood Hall Parish Ward. Pursuant with Section 87, subsection 2 of the Local Government Act 1972, I hereby give notice of a casual vacancy occurring in the office of Council for Eastwood Town Council. This vacancy has come about due to a councillor who has decided to resign due to her current health, and she feels unable to continue in the role of councillor. This means that the council needs to resolve a vacancy in the Eastwood Hall Parish Ward, Town Ward.
Okay.
Rebecca.
Walk.
Okay.
No, not surprised.
Address, please.
As the cold weather approaches, Lord, we pray for those who struggle during that difficult time of year. Help us to look out for them and to support them in whatever way we can. We pray for this town council and for all those involved. Those who are struggling for whatever reason at this time, we ask your blessing of peace and healing and strength. And we pray for wisdom as we seek to make Eastwood a good place to live and work for all. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Any declarations of interest? No. Allotment. Yeah. Any notifications for lobbying? Receive and consider adopting as a true and accurate record of the following minutes. Town Council meeting 9th of October 2017. So, yeah, take that. All in favour? Police update. We're very honoured tonight to have Inspector Ragg with us. So, the chair is yours, young man.
I'll take that sarcasm and raise it 2, David. Apologies for the tie, but you get me on my rest day, and last time the town council meeting was on, that was also my rest day, so there you go. Couldn't make last one. Chief told me I was making this one.
Thanks for giving that the time.
Okay, police update then with regards to pure statistics. I think there's been some confusion in the past around Eastwood and the boundaries and the data and all that stuff. This is the gospel around the figures of what applies to you. But before I carry on,
Can I just ask, Inspector, will you be given a copy of that?
I can send you it. Yeah, it's not a problem. Yeah, no problem at all. So anyway, all crime figures then for the year to date for Eastwood, 955 crimes in total compared to 835 crimes compared to this time last year. So that's an increase in recorded crimes of 120, a plus 14% increase on the year to date. Highlight crimes with regards to volume in there: violence against the person, 257 crimes compared to 206, so a 51 crime increase in that. Sexual offences, 28 crimes recorded compared to 16, which is a 12 crime increase. Burglary, on the other hand, so every cloud and all that, 62 crimes compared to 85, which is less 23 crimes, a reduction of 27%. Shoplifting, 160 crimes compared to 169, so that's less 9 crimes, so a reduction of 5%. Vehicle offences, 75 compared to 67, so plus 8, so relatively consistent. And then other than those highlight crimes, Public Order Act offences have shown an increase 62 compared to 21, which is 41 crime increase, 195%. I don't want to dwell over perhaps what's already been said in a number of these reasons around why recorded crime in a lot of those categories, particularly violent, sexual offences and Public Order Act offences, have shown a remarkable increase. So you know, people sat around here why that is. Give you a very current picture, so the month to date, so the rolling month as it is, 30 crimes compared to 39, so a reduction of 9 offences, 23% reduction, and in there is, as you can probably tell by the reduction, a sea of green for the most part with regards to a reduction in recent offending. Shoplifting, 6 of those, antisocial behaviour incidents, 10 of those, but the lion's share of that criminality has shown quite a decrease. So that gives you a bit of a flavour of an overview of crimes-wise, give you a little bit of an update around the team. So Broxtowe North team, because we're not so fortunate now in regards to numbers-wise to have individual officers dedicated to wards or beats. So Joe Sackle-Appleby joined the team at the beginning of this month as an extra police constable. So welcome Joe to the team. I am informed that a PCSO will be joining as part of the November intake, so that PCSO, fingers crossed, will land somewhere around December. So again, should see some increase in staffing wise with that. Vehicles wise, you probably might have seen a great big van knocking around here, taking up most of the room, so we've got access to a long wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter van now as well. So slowly but surely getting some more A people here, and obviously B resources wise here as well. Some highlights with regards to individuals. So a very prolific shoplifter arrested and charged earlier this month, who got 36 weeks for his troubles and got an amendment to his criminal behaviour order. That will all be published in due course. Mr. Edwards, for those of you who know, but that will come out as public knowledge. So I'm not hiding anything there. Again, that will prevent him from being in many parts of Eastwood and blighting the local community. So some very positive work. Drugs offences wise, they remain quite consistent, 19 compared to 22. So again, the tackle on drugs hasn't waned, we are about there. Probably something we'll publicise tomorrow will be a rather large fine, not in Eastwood admittedly, but in Kimberley. There'll be lots of officers sat on there overnight, and that will come out in the press tomorrow. So we're still fighting that battle. I know that's one of the things you guys do talk about. We are still fighting that battle. That's it from me.
David, you got anything to add?
Yeah, it's not exactly what I was going to do, and I expected him to. The only other thing that we haven't mentioned in the last 2 weeks, and I'm hoping this, well, what I've got from Andy Browning, that the team has made 11 arrests, and they've ID 3 for further arrests.
Yep.
And of those 11, 4 are in prison, and we've got one with a significant sentence. So I think that's probably why burglars have decidedly come down. Our prolific lads are having breakfast and eating a meal with Their Majesty, so we're confident with that. The positives that we got out of this is that crime is being kept quite level. Shop theft is the biggest issue that we have, and I've got a note on that they've got 36 now shops within the old shop theft voting system. So that's going well. They are also working with Broxton Borough Council on house closures to make sure that everything is kept nice and safe and tinned up, as we would call it in
Yep.
the jargon.
Yeah, shop watches
Shop
going
watches,
ahead at pace.
Yeah. As I say, on shop watch, they've got 36 people now on shop watch, which is almost good, and that's Eastwood, Gilbrook and Kimberley combined in the whole. So yeah, as I say, Inspector covered most of it that we'd gone through. The other point to really come out of this is that we discussed it. I don't know how councillors feel. I'm pretty well up with it. When we have to get somebody from our local or the inspector coming up to do this, to me, you know, this hour that should be spent out there doing what they should do. I could give you that same information with talking to Andy Browning regularly, or with Inspector. I don't see the problem there. And if the public have any problem, again, it could come through me, and I could go and get the answers without having somebody down here who could be doing better, as far as I'm concerned, patrolling Eastwood and doing what they should be doing. And sometimes when we get people here, they haven't got the full information. We ask them questions. Well, we can't ask them really questions because they're not always fully briefed. And I've also been told, if you don't know, go find out. And I think that's the way that we should play it. If anybody's got a problem, I can give you these crime figures regularly, and that's all that we're doing. But problems, we can take them back and get the advice on problems and either pertinently send someone the answer or do it on the next council meeting. And I think that would, well, I hope it would work in favour of ourselves, and also because we've got such a small constabulary staff, you've just got a new beat manager, I do believe, it would be better to leave them doing what they should be doing, and as I say, I could report what the inspector's just done. Anyway.
And you would get that information off the Sergeant Browning?
Yes.
Have you managed to contact, I know you had a meeting with the other day, but have you managed to contact each other? Because I know you had some difficulty. It's not always easy to get hold of Sergeant Browning at times, is it?
I've now got.
How's your communication?
I've got. Of course, I've got Andy's direct line now.
Okay.
So there will be no problem contacting him, and we will look at when his days off are, so that when we have a meet, it will be before the next council meeting and the next, and progress that way, so that we will have all the pertinent figures that you need to hear to come to the meeting, and I think that's how it should be, and we'll then leave these officers to do what they should be doing.
What's your thought on that?
I mean, obviously in the past I've sent those figures through to you guys anyway, obviously at the town clerk, the email address, so you've had those. The decision's yours really with regards to how frequent the input is, because as with most of the council meetings, we don't necessarily attend every single one of them, for that reason of sometimes if we're churning figures out in the statistics, well, that can be sent to you by an email, which is, here is some bare bones and some facts and figures. You relay those as you deem fit, and perhaps with some highlights and sort of lowlights in there. There might be the occasional one when you might say, if you come quarterly or you come when you think there is an exception, then perhaps that's more sort of manageable.
I was just going to say that. Like the invitation for you to come is always here.
Yes.
You're always welcome to come, and we're always pleased to see you. But if you think, and I agree with what David's saying, if it's going to work, then let David do it.
Yeah.
And that saves you sort of being here on your day off. Or if you've got more important things to do, then sitting here for an hour is a waste of your resources.
Yeah, one of the benefits of this method would be that I often get told of where, let's say, drug dealers going off by people, and I can bring it back to Andy, although we are saying that we need to put that to 101. So we will get information, we'll get clarity, and how we should respond to what the public see and hear, and I think that's very important. And this way, the public can it can come through Chris or me, and we'll relay it to the policeman.
And if there's anything that needs going in the notice boards, we can put it in the notice board. Can I just go to Bob? You got your hand up first.
Yeah, just thank you for attending tonight. And I think the way forward is how Councillor Bagshaw's put it. You're welcome at any time. We'll only call on you if there is a specific real issue, and at that point,
Yes.
I don't think we want to do it on a quarterly or whatever. Let's leave it to a point when there is something very special that we need to draw to your attention.
Yep, absolutely agree with that.
I mean, it's not a million miles away from me, and I'm in Beeston regular, so you know, the continuity should happen.
Okay.
I understand what's being said, I fully understand and understand what David's been saying, but my concern is the people that are reporting the crimes, and especially the drug crimes, in a certain area, we'll know which one that is. It's not going to say which area. But there's people down there that report it and they say nothing's being done. They don't get no feedback. Nobody calls to see them to say, yes, we're looking at it, yes, we're keeping an eye on it, and that's the only answers they keep getting. But there's nothing positive comes out on it, and it is still happening all the time, and it's continual.
I would steer away from nothing positive happening about it, because positive things do happen about it, and some of those people that we spoke about who have been arrested and are now serving time might not be as a direct result of I saw them pass a drug, but there might be other tools in our locker that means that we put them back inside. So some of the calls that people make, for example, may be intelligence, but not sufficient intelligence for us to take action upon. So the systems within Nottinghamshire Police will deal with that robustly, submit an intelligence entry, and that will be the end of it. But people want to trust those processes do take place. And I appreciate if every single call we provided feedback to an individual, whoever that individual was, we'd probably never get off the phones in the first place because we're giving feedback to people. So hopefully that gives you a little bit that when people do say to you, for example, I've not heard anything back from the police, what I'd say to all you guys, and I've said this before as councillors, is back us up and reassure them of, yeah, I've spoke to the police, there is a process. National intelligence model is a process that means that the police have to treat that intelligence with the right sensitivity and give it the gravity and then put it onto a, what we call niche, which is our intelligence model system. It does happen. Whether that is sufficient enough information and evidence for us then to act upon is a different thing, and that's our processes and that's our gradings.
I do understand that there's certain members that have been locked up, but at the moment now we've got others taking over.
Yeah, well, and you've just heard about me talking about the drug statistics which we've done, something that will break obviously tomorrow about some other work that we've done. I appreciate it might not always be in your respective area that your constituents are, but we're not blind to it. We do a lot of work on it. Some of the things I've said to you in this meeting before, I'll tell you about that, but there's lots and lots that I won't tell you about that will be happening in the background that the Serious and Organised Crime Task Force might be dealing with, and mapping organised crime groups and groups and how we're pursuing people through proceeds of crime acts and so on and so forth. And like I say, that chain of evidence, information, intelligence gathering goes on and on and on.
It does work, but it just takes time, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
You can't expect somebody to ring up and expect hundreds of police to all of a sudden appear up. It just don't work like that, so it does take time. Can we open up to the public?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody got a question for Inspector Ragg?
Just one thing that seems persistent in Eastwood, particularly at the weekends, is these guys on motorbikes, they're doing wheelies down Eastwood. You know, absolutely oblivious to the fact that, you know, putting people's lives at risk. And I fully understand that you can't be there to catch them, whatever. But it seems that there was one came up Wellington Street, he's got a balaclava on with slits, and he just turned round
goes down Alexander Street, comes back, and then it's going backwards and forwards, frightening people to death. So what I say, Inspector Ragg, is really, could you please have a look at, you know, this wheelers and through Eastwood, because it's frightening people to death. And plus the fact they fall on someone who they really are, they're going to lose control, and it won't be them who'll get hurt, it'll be somebody with a pram or a baby or whatever. It is a concern, and if you just take a consensus, don't disagree, just take a consensus, and it is quite prevalent, really, you know, these guys. And they have, by the way, I've always looked to see if they've got a registration. Yes, some of them have, you know, and I've tried to catch, but they've gone. You know, a lot of them haven't got registration to these dirt track lights. Could you have a look at it?
Yeah, motorcycle nuisance is very prevalent, you're right.
There's one on the white one night. He's got scars on and everything, and he just wheels on it. Went through the traffic lights and when I went coming up.
Yeah, it is very prevalent, and I'm not going to sit here and say that this area alone suffers far more than any other area, because you don't, so it is spread across Nottinghamshire. And I know firsthand that other areas have it far worse because of places like the desert, for example, and all the surrounding areas that suffer from that. Very, very vested interest in it. I'm part of the off-road motorcycle team in Notts Police already, so I do have that buy-in around it. I'm not telling you something that isn't public knowledge already, that Nottinghamshire Police has a no pursuit policy around motorcycles, so that's part of authorised professional practice nationwide as well about why we don't pursue motorcyclists, and that's probably obvious with regards to the fatality rate around something like that. There are other taxes that we do have in our locker with regards to, and again, take an example where somebody was seen acting in an antisocial manner. We did prosecute them. We gave them a Section 59 notice, and then we did prosecute them and seized the bike off them. But they are slow time, and I appreciate sometimes what you want is, I want them stopped. It's not so easy just to click a finger and stop them. But your concerns haven't fallen on deaf ears. I was with Kimberley Town Council last week, and they said to me, get yourself down Nottingham Road on Sunday between 3 and 5, and so on and so forth. So I have got that intelligence and information from them. You've obviously reiterated it today to me with that. I'll have a look and see what we can do about that.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
If you want to stay, you can.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, go home.
I'll go eat your dinner.
I'll go 23 miles home. Oh, get the violins out on it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming. Thank you very much.
See you later.
Item 7, questions from the members of the public. Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's regarding the allotment water situation. It's got quite farcical. I was down there on the 30th of October with Chris. The water board came, duly read the meter, gave us the serial number, and turned it off. Chris had to put another notice up for getting no further with these water bills. The point is, at the current domestic rate, we have always been below £400 per year, which is under £7 a plot, 60 plots. Can you say with any certainty that the past 6 years we have paid a fair bill?
I can't comment personally
Well, we know it's less than £400 a year.
over the last 6 years because I've not been here. Regarding the allotments, we are still trying repeatedly. I'm sorry this might sound like a broken record, but we are trying to get decent, accurate bills out of the water company. We are still unable to achieve that. Despite ringing up their complaints line, we've done everything we can possibly do. Once we have the information, we will meet with you and we'll try and sort this out. Tonight, I cannot answer your question. I'm sorry, I haven't got the information. I can't answer your question. We'll add that to the list
Well, the fact that it was officially run by the water board, with Chris and me there, there should be no doubt, is it?
But we can't do anything until we get an actual water bill.
Can you refer back to the previous 6 years, make sure we've not been overpaid?
We probably could, but that's a mammoth task, that is, for us to trace back over 6 years.
Yes, but we know it's less than £400 a year.
Yeah. David?
Yeah, I'm just going back with what Colin's saying, and we were told that we'd changed now to Water Plus, and then suddenly the people that come to read the meter are the actual water board. And do we know who we're dealing with? Because if we don't, they ain't got a prayer. I'm a labourer on the garden.
To be honest, we don't know. We try and bring out Water Board, they're sending us Water Plus. We contact Water Plus is sending them back to Water Board. Until we can tie them down, and Chris and Howard are really trying to do that. They're on the phone, ringing them up, and they actually physically can actually meet the person. Somebody on the phone can do this.
Can we not just go up and deal with the man at the top?
We have been.
You can deal with.
You have contacted their complaints department. That's the next step through.
You know, to me, you need to be talking to the organ grinder. And it seems to me we're talking to monkeys at the moment. We need to talk to the man.
To try and get past the monkeys, as you quite put it, it's very difficult. You try cannot talk to your supervisor, cannot talk to this, and you end up being on the phone for hours. I think we've probably all done it at some point where you've had issues with bills and you charge it and you get fobbed off. We are really trying.
David, where are they based? Where do we get these bills from? Where are they based?
I think it's Coventry, isn't it? Who said that we changed from the water board to Water Plus? 7 pounds. Did you send it here in an email or a letter?
Honestly, I don't know, it'd probably be both. I would assume that would be probably a letter saying that they're transferring that over.
Well, there you've got a point of contact. So somebody sent you a letter, they signed it, they put a job title to it, somebody wanted 7 grand.
Yeah.
Like David said, you've got to get past these.
Yeah, because that's what I was trying to say. It's very, I can see you. It's very time consuming trying to get through and get a positive answer because you just get run around.
Because we get this, in fairness to them, that the vote office, we get it every time.
Well, Chris,
and they're getting no satisfaction.
Chris, I'm on Chris's back.
Before I started.
I'm on Chris's back at least twice a week, if not more. Where are we with this? Where are we with the water bills? Where are these? Keep the allotment holders informed. And that's what he's been doing. Well, that's what he should have been doing.
It doesn't relieve the frustration.
It doesn't, but it doesn't leave our frustration. While Chris is spending time, and Howard's spending time, chasing the water bills, then when we get a water bill, we know it's wrong.
And we also had a problem.
And we're still getting the wrong. I think we're getting.
Still paying the bills that are wrong.
Well, they took the Water Plus. They took the bill twice.
They took the bill. Yeah, we have to get the money back on the.
They took the bill. They took the payment twice.
We have to get. Yeah.
We have to chase that as well.
Yeah.
You know, you've taken it twice. Why have you taken it twice? Then
I agree with David. It was inside the 7 grand. Getting and getting out of the store.
It's a nightmare.
Sorry, yeah.
That's all right. Please hang on, Colin. My turn. I'm sorry, London.
Have we in fact had a bill that we are disputing the payment on?
And we had a bill which was based on the wrong meter reading. Wrong meter.
What I'm saying is, can we identify the fact that we've not been overcharged for the previous 6 years?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Eventually, yeah. We probably can. But that's a man of task trying to get that all that information.
All this misleading information has led Chris to put intimidating notices on our board as regards 240% increase. He's getting the backs up of all the allotment holders, and like you said.
I don't want to go down that road again. We've been down there, we put that to bed. I don't want to go down that road again. Thank you very much. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, that's me. Yeah, can I just say, I don't know whether all the councillors are aware, we looked on the Severn Trent site and it appears that Severn Trent are kind of changing over businesses automatically to Water Plus, which is part of the Severn Trent organisation. And it appeared to us that the whole idea of this is that as business organisations you then have a choice of water supplier who pay. Something like that, isn't it, Chris? Now, so Severn Trent and Water Plus are the same company. They are certainly part of the same company. But I've almost forgotten what I was going to say now. What I would say is, if it was my domestic supply and my domestic bill that was in dispute here, knowing full well, as we do now, that Severn Trent, so Water Plus, are actually sending bills for the wrong meter, because the meter number on the meter at the road does not is not the meter number for which these bills are being sent. We know that, and we know how many units have been used at Eastwood, and we know roughly what the bill should be. Now, seeing as they've cocked it up so much, isn't it time to actually get in touch with the Ombudsman and Ofwat, or whatever they're called, with a formal complaint? Because a deadlock letter. Now tell us, what does a deadlock letter entail, and how?
Well, if you complain to Severn Trent,
Right.
in whatever way you like, and then they said they've got 8 weeks to respond. The best way to do it is through resolving. Then why messing about it? They don't resolve it, it goes straight to the complaints manager at Severn Trent. And then they've got 8 weeks to respond. After that 8 weeks, they send you a deadlock letter. Once you've got that, you can go to Ombudsman.
The thing is, I'm not saying that you're incompetence.
It's on Martin Lewis's website. It's on Martin Lewis's website. It automatically puts your complaint through to it deals with hundreds and hundreds of companies. Severn Trent will be on it, which is a major company. I've dealt with it 3 or 4 times and I've had good results every time.
okay, I didn't know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will attempt to do that.
You just have to do a few
We're still all about the bill.
to put your name on the stadium and one of the so that will go through.
Good, like a big
Go direct straight to the complaint.
We don't take this into
Well, we'll do that.
And it's got 8 weeks to respond to that.
It's almost time.
Brian.
Mr. Mayor, quite an odd angle, really, a 2-part question. Brian Griffin, as you know, there's great concern within the town of the deterioration of footfall of people that are coming to shop in our town. During this last 3 months, I took it upon myself to visit quite a lot of shops, have a little one-to-one talk as to how they was faring and how do they perceive their business was going, because I'm concerned as well. And there was a couple of 3 of them. 2 of them now resolved it, but there was a point of, again, closing their shops. But the main factor, Mr. Mayor, is this. It's back to the annual of parking. There's been quite a lot to do with the Holly's car park, overzealousness of traffic wardens or whatever. As you know, there's a major store in Eastwood which used to be a car. And I parked my car at the back of there, and at the moment it's under attack because the shutter at the back is that far off the ground. They've made great attempts to put a piece of aluminium with screws on the outside, anybody with a screwdriver. just concerned me, Mr Mayor, that that cooperative building is destined for further vandalism, and it would be an absolute disaster if it did. So my question to this council is this. We have a town centre manager, Mr Matt Bathroom. When asking the shopkeepers, we never see him. Now, Eastwood Town used to be a lovely shopping centre, and at the moment it's dying on its feet. And the point that everybody's saying is, we just cannot park. We cannot park. And the shopkeepers, back to them, Mr Mayor, are saying this. One of the shopkeepers has even thought about paying for their customers' fine, beg your pardon, parking fee, if they spend X amount of money to try and bring people in. So, I'd like to ask this council really, how can they, or how can we, attempt to, one, attempt to reduce the, or put the parking to an hour, and also encourage these shopkeepers, because they are absolutely dying on the feet. You go after 12 o'clock on a Saturday, it's a ghost town. Absolute ghost town. Shops, as I say, 2 of them, they survived it. At one stage, Mr Mayor, in my survey, there was going to be 3 shops. 3. So we need to be concerned.
We have had, there's been a couple of councillors sitting around this table now, we've had a meeting with Matt Backstrom and Luke Hine. We're trying to raise another one to follow up from that. One of the things that was brought up in those meetings was car parking. And that was to try to increase the length of time you can get, instead of 3/4 hour to an hour, to an hour free, 2 hours free. We are still trying to get hold of Matt Backstrom. It's very difficult guy to get hold of, which is why, like you said, emailing, ringing, never answers his phone, and very difficult to get hold of him. So I might try to have his phone.
We have Broxhill councillors here. Broxhill councillors ask why Mr Bathroom doesn't answer his phone. Because if that's the root of the problem, we see, Mr Mayor, back to the cooperative, it looks as if it's been rained out already. It's a disgrace in itself.
That is a disgrace, but
I know you can't do anything, I know that. I probably understand.
We can't do anything else. The last thing I heard about the co-op was, I heard 2 things. One, they were attempting to turn the whole thing into funeral parlour. That fell down.
That'd be a great piece, wouldn't it? Smack in the middle of the day. That's just what we want, isn't it?
You asked me, so I'm telling you what I've heard. That's on deaf ears. That's gone through. The last thing I've heard is somebody who's interested in it and trying to convert it into free.
I mean, of the 20 rumours, Mr Mayor, I mean, the latest one is that it's going to be the doctor's surgery now they're merging. Yeah, that's the latest one. But of the 20, you joke. Do you know somebody even proposed or thought it was going to be a crematorium? You couldn't make it up, would you?
The information I got about the cold food parlour actually come from the cold food parlour, so that was genuine.
Wheel them at the back and wheel them out at the front.
Right, that was regarding the funeral parlour. It's big enough and it could certainly cause some confusion in the centre.
It would, right?
Well, the whole debate wouldn't go in.
That's right,
The faces onto the main road.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. One thing that people do come and talk to me about, and it's how busy Eastwood is on Friday and Saturday nights. The night-time economy in Eastwood is booming.
It is.
Yes.
We may be talking about it, David, we also need to talk about this. We have people that have put their businesses in Eastwood, and they are encouraging people to come into Eastwood and spend the cash. And these real places, they aren't cheap, and they're doing a great turnover. So all of those I presume are making a profit, and Eastwood nighttime economy is thriving.
Michael Patillo's been to Oliver's twice.
And they are actually working together. Dog
Yes,
and Parrot,
I agree with council.
Dog and Parrot working with Oliver's, and they're all working together, which is good. That's night time.
But the point is, we was missing a point here. I agree with it is, but it's night life. But each one of those has took the place of a shop, a daytime shop. Think about that one.
I disagree with you there, sir.
Well, it's business.
The shops that they had, like the Dog and Parrot, the actual shop was shut and closed for a long time. The one we on Sallington was
It was a shop.
His point was right.
I'm in the midst of doing another shop survey for the next, not the sections of the local plan, neighbourhood plan that's in front of us tonight. There's still 3 more sections. And the vacancy rate in these is really low. It is really low. I really want to make the town a lot better than it is, but we have to look on the positive. The town is doing well, without the exception of the co-op in the middle, which is, I accept, is a big problem. The actual vacancy rate is less. I haven't pulled the percentages out, but it's going to come out
One of the best in the world.
The
it
town
is
doing
definitely
well.
lower. It could be best in the county.
Councillor, could you repeat that? The town's doing well.
Yes.
Have you been round and asked these shopkeepers, because you're in a different town to me? Go and ask them.
Well, the shops that I've been
Each
in,
one of you councillors tomorrow, go and visit 2 shops apiece and ask them. And if you say the town's doing well,
I always ask for how the business is
all right
going.
then, surveys. We don't want surveys, we want action.
Well, yeah, you just do one.
I've been in, over the last 2-3 weeks, I've been in every shop in Eastwood, apart from the restaurants who shut down and you can't get in there. I have been in every shop in Eastwood twice in the last 2 weeks, and that's given out leaflets right for the light switch on. And not one of those shop people have said to me what you just stated.
Well, I'm not here to make folks say.
No, I'm not saying you are. But what I'm saying is,
I disagree with what you said, and you disagree with me.
My friend
Here we
who's
go.
Peacock, she says they're doing really well. And boys.
You move on. Okay, we'll look into that. We'll change back to manufacturer.
Thank you very
But one of the other things, I don't know if everybody's noticed, the forest, what was growing above Greg's, is now gone. All the drain pipes have all been cleaned, and that is a result of the meeting that we had with Matt Backstrom.
And the property at Docker Church Street, what's happened to that one? On the corner.
It's privately owned. It's privately owned.
Absolutely.
It's privately owned, and we've got Matt Backstrom to write letters to that, but there's nothing we can do about that. It's privately owned.
Just talking about the co-op, just ask Councillor Bradshaw, have you had a lot of elderly people saying they've missed the co-op? No, not so they've not missed it. They're going down to Morrison's and getting down to Morrison's okay.
And the co-op down here will be still
And that's
Yeah.
Is that correctly? Are you saying that going down to Morrison's is right?
no. I'm just saying, has she had anybody?
We don't want them in Morrison's.
No, she's not saying that, Brian. What she's
Not
saying
saying
is
that. You
people
listen to me. I'm just asking the councillor if any of the old people have complained not having a food shop and whether it's caused them a lot of problems getting up and down the hill to Morrison's.
No, it isn't.
No, it's a different
No,
issue.
no, it's not.
No, it isn't.
It's a different issue, though.
No, it isn't.
We'll contact that. We'll attempt to contact that council today. Yeah, we're taking. See what
Probably
happens.
Aldi or somebody like that. Do you think? Maybe.
Well, you can move on.
Somebody like that.
We want Brian to come here.
Yeah. Okay, that ends that. Thank you. No, planning up. Oh, sorry. I did ask if you were spoken about that. Yes, Mr. Trevor.
First of all,
Charlesworth. The photos you sent to David was excellent. We've come out as well as what you sent me to. Very good. Very pleased.
Not all of them you got. I got 2 bounce messages.
Oh, well, we must have sent about 6 then.
Oh yeah, I sent that.
Yeah.
I sent a lot.
Yeah. Well, 6 or 7 of them that's come out. They're excellent. Thank you very much indeed. We both thank you for that. Now, Mr. Mayor. 4 months ago, I spoke to you regarding getting the advertiser to promote local groups. Is that correct, sir?
4 months ago, I'm not sure at the time, but yes, you have spoken to me.
You stated it was in hand and that you were in contact with an advertiser rep. You named this rep, and I told you at that time she was off ill, and likely to be off ill for a few more weeks. Correct?
That's what you said, but that
Alright.
could be
That's what I
not
said.
correct, but there you go.
I come back to you a month later and asked her if there's any progress made. The words you said to me was, you was right about that young lady. Is that correct? She was still off.
She said she was, I don't like to talk about it anyway, the young lady's sitting here.
You're not talking any fancy to her.
No, but yeah, she
was
really
off. She was off.
rang off and she was off.
Right.
We were off 5 weeks. 6 weeks.
Now I ask you then, if any progress has been made, and of course, you didn't contact nobody. And I told you then that I've been in contact with the advertiser and got 6 groups to present me with what they wanted to promote during November. And I assume if you'd like to put in for the council.
No, well, you asked me personally what events I was going to.
Yes?
That's what you asked me, and I gave you that information.
You did, sir.
Yeah. And I also told you that anything to do with the 137 grants would be handled by the council.
You didn't tell me that.
Yes, I did.
All right, then, let's press on then, so we don't have to stop there. I told you I got in touch with these groups, and it was sent in. You've seen it in the advertiser, haven't you?
I did say advertise
It was
you.
all in, everything was put in writing. Now, when I do anything to bring to this council, I always try and involve a member of this council. I always have done, and always will do. Councillor, across the road, I asked Josie to put this through. Right?
Put it, and you mean put it through, what, she typed up for you, you know?
No, it was already done. I don't know whether you've seen a copy or not. I can chuck a copy of that on the table for you to have a look at. There's 7 groups on there that went through that put in. Right?
Just hang on, and Josie, when he means put in, I don't understand, did you actually put that in the paper?
Yeah, I gave me some little words about the group and
Did you actually put that?
amended them slightly with grammar and spelling, and then I emailed it.
You actually said that to the paper?
Yeah. And sent him back a copy of what I'd said.
Okay.
I said it was okay before I sent it.
Okay, thank you.
That was so the council knew what was happening. Right, sir? Nothing underhanded or overboard.
Apart from I didn't know
The
that.
council didn't know it.
Apart from that, I did not know that. I did not.
You prepared them to write letters to him, not knowing the full facts, sir.
I was under the impression from you, several phone calls from you, that you were going to put that stuff in the paper. Not at one point at all did you say to me that Councillor Masters was doing that and sending it into the paper for you. You gave me the impression that you were doing it. Nobody else, you. That's what you said to me.
I put it together, sir.
You know, when you put it, you said to me that you were going to put it into the paper. That's what you said to me. Now you're saying that you've got Councillor Masters to do it. Nobody around this table, apart from Councillor Masters, knew that. Am I right?
Right.
Could you correct me if I'm wrong? So the information that you gave me then was misleading.
So we agreed that any information from this council going to the newspaper, any media whatsoever, should come from this council. And that's what that letter said to you. I've got it here and I've read it. I know what it said because I was there when it was written.
Very nicely said.
It's put in a way, you can't always write things nicely. You have to be to the point, and you have to get the point across. And that's what that letter does. There's nobody, that letter before it was sent to you went to these councillors. Nobody come back and said, that's wrong. If you've read it and you misunderstand it, that's your problem, not ours. Robert.
The situation is, even though I'm leader of majority group, I write something in the press, I write it on behalf of myself or the leading group. I cannot write something on behalf of the council. The only people who can do that is the mayor or the office. That's a clear rule, always along. It's been followed for years. Private individuals around this council cannot talk for the council. The only person that can talk for the council is the office or the mayor, but normally the mayor only does such communications through the office. It's done in the mayor's name.
I'm going to show Joe, because she's put around that for you, although you probably didn't see it, don't you? Sorry.
I feel I need to say a few things. I'm aware that there was a reason Mr. Fretton contacted the advertiser, was to get more about Eastwood reported on, which was 16 Ashfield and Salisbury and Wimbledon. And Long may continue to contact the local groups and report on their work. When he gave me that sheet, it had got a piece about the remembrance service for Eastwood Town Council, the remembrance service for Breezer. Well, I thought Chris had given me that. But the council as a whole is answerable to the people of Eastwood, and for clarity, I personally feel the council should report on council matters. As a council, we need to produce our own report and risk the chance of a misquote. For goodness sake, there's enough misquotes and errors in the advertiser anyway. And I think that's been misunderstood. And the letter, if I'm honest, it didn't explain, this is in my view, didn't explain the council business as per se. I had no part in the composition of said letter, and only had sight of it after the letter, I'm led to believe after the letter was delivered, because I didn't check my emails till tea time. I'm sorry if this has offended Mr. Fretwell, as that was certainly not my aim. My conscience is clear. I offered my services with the best of intention for this council, and certainly not to upset anybody. It's upset me. It was done for the right reasons.
You haven't upset anybody on this house, as far as I'm aware.
No,
you certainly haven't upset me. If Mr. Fretwell read this letter and misunderstood it, then that's Mr. Fretwell's issue, that's his problem, not yours, everybody else. And if he's any type of man at all, for the conversation that he had with you, he should owe you an apology. If he's not man enough to do that, then that's it. David.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned here. My feeling is that in a democratic society, you can't stop a member of the public reporting on what he sees or she sees or hears in this council to the press, as long as it's via, in this case, right travel.
Yeah.
And to me, that is right. He comes, he attends every meeting, he knows what's going off, and if he wants to put a little bit in the press about what he hears or what went off, I think that's his prerogative.
We've not stopped him doing that.
Good.
The only what we stopped him is the information that we, as the Eastwood Town Council, provide. If he wants information for his book, which we have given him on the mayoral awards, the Hedge Breakaway Award and etc. We've given him that, given him the pictures from the mayoral night, and that's for his book and his book only. If we need to put that into the press, right, for us, it's for us to do, and that's what this letter says.
Be careful.
But if he is a member of the public, sees that, and he wants to report it as a member of the public, it's democratic right. You can't stop
Not
it.
stopped him. There's nothing here anybody has said. We have not stopped him. If he wants to
We're elected.
if he wants to put what's gone off here tonight in the paper, and the paper wants to print it, he can do that.
Absolutely.
I've not said that, or we've not said that in any way, shape or form. What we've said is that the information that comes out of this office or this council is provided to the newspaper from a member of this council. And that's what I've said, and that's what we've said.
Yeah. Just one question, a question to ask on that, sir. When I was asking questions, it wasn't about a council meeting, it was about a public meeting. It was about the awards night. Is that correct? That is not a council meeting, and this is sponsored by the people.
It is a council meeting, and it's run by the council. It's a council meeting.
So it's classed as a council meeting when it's a public meeting, and public will provide.
Well, it's still a council meeting. But you asked for the information for the book. We give you that information for the book freely. All we said is that is for your book and your book only, not for you to go and take it to the press. If we want to send it to the press, we will send it to the press.
Very good, sir. There's just one other question to ask you. I was asked yesterday about the awards night. A person had come here on the awards night to anticipate there being grants and distributions of cash. The grants and the award winners. Now, there was only 5 awards given out on that night.
Yep, quite correct.
Where do we know? Where's the rest of the cash going for the...
You know where it's going. You know where it's going.
Shouldn't have been to this council.
You know where it's going. I have physically told you what is happening with the grant. You know what's happening with the grant. So you sit there and say you don't know.
Well, should we have some sort of a statement on here where it's all going?
It's been reported in the press, and it was in the last town council meeting where what we're going to do with the grants.
And all the groups have got it?
Yes. Yes. They've all been notified. We decided it in council. It was a council decision.
Yeah. To a point, you asked that young lady there, how many photographs and reports have we sent you over the last
I came back to a very full inbox.
You know that.
I've not seen anything in the advertising regarding where it's
Well,
going.
that's
He sent it to me and I've been off, that's why.
Pardon?
He sent it to I had the emails.
You also,
My work email account, and I've been
You can't make them put it in the
So
advertising.
that's why
But it's not been in the advertiser.
No, not yet.
It's not been in.
I know it's not been in. She's scattered, sat there and said she's been off sick for 6 weeks. So how the hell can she put it in if she's off leave? What's going to happen is when all the grants have been awarded, and I've been round to all the groups, Lauren's going to do a write-up on it, and she's going to have her editor, am I correct, your editor, wants to do a double-page spread.
Mr Mayor, we are after the 30 minutes of time allotted.
We are past it.
Point of order.
It's finished now. Okay. Thank you. Planning update.
Well, we normally just note this, but
We have got a perhaps a little bit of disturbing planning update with Morrison. Whether we as a council want to spend time here tonight to discuss it, or everybody wants to come back and give their thoughts, or should we have an extraordinary meeting just to discuss that and that alone?
Why do you find it disturbing?
Well, going back to what
you
Mr.
don't
Christie...
find IKEA disturbing, and that's got loads of retail.
Yeah. it's not Eastwood. I'm picking up what Mr. what Mr. Griffin said. If they put 4 retail units down there, another car wash, another tyre place, what effect is that going to have on Eastwood itself? There's 3 tyre places in Eastwood. There's already 1 car wash, which has caused an enormous amount of issues, and it's difficult to find out on the plan applications A1, A2 and A3. We're trying to find out what those classifications actually are. I think A1 may be food or something like that, but what impact is that going to have on
I think, as we did with the disabled parking spots, where we asked loads of people what they thought about that. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. It would be a good idea, because people of Eastwood will be interested in that, to get the thoughts. You know, as of according to what we're saying, that Eastwood is losing its impact as a retail place to come to. Do we not want this to go ahead because it will drive people away from Eastwood? Although we are hearing that Eastwood
is dying anyway.
Well, you know, we've got all shops that are full. You know,
it's not the fact that.
It's not the fact
It's not the fact that I'm against it, or we're against, or I'm against it personally. I'm against it. But I want to know if it's possible to find out what possible retails are going in there, and what impact is that going to have on Eastwood town centre. The tyre place, if you actually in a half-mile radius, there must be eight tyre places. Do we really need another car wash? And if they put a car wash in there, what's going to happen to the original car wash? What's there now? What's going to go in there? If we want to discuss it tonight, then I think it's going to be too big an issue to do that. I think we need to find some more information, and I believe that you two, I would want you to take it to committee.
Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely.
And it's on a very, very, very short deadline.
22nd of this month.
Which is gives us what? Just over a week.
Well, so I think it's a good idea, because I think anything that brings retail and brings people in, I think it just depends on what they put in it, rather than not being there.
Keep your voice end up already. Down your voice end.
I've got to try and protect the businesses that are already in.
Dave, you've got your hand up, or have you asked?
You've just took the words out of my mouth.
Have I?
About go to committee.
Okay, thank you.
But we've got to bear in mind it is the 22nd.
It's a very, very short notice, so I don't know when the planning meeting is, committee. I don't know when that will be.
Several last week.
Second week in December.
So would there be another one before this one cropped up?
No, and if it goes in resolved matters, then it's a different case. So we'll take it up. We'll go to planning. We'll find out everything about it.
As I say, it's not against it. It's just what the impact it might have on Eastwood Town Centre.
With the short deadline, we do need to do something fairly quick. What are the Borough Council's diary like for next Monday?
What are what?
What's your diary like for next Monday?
I would think the diary is pretty well open for next Monday, to be quite honest.
I was wondering if we do have a quick planning meeting, which all councillors can attend, and then it can be thrashed out what. And it take this period of time between then and now to actually for councillors to read the planning application.
I think coming up to that, either Josie or I should attend your planning meeting.
Oh yeah, it's all councillors.
We know, and well, I'm particularly saying that because we attend the planning committee. And sometimes we hear, as long as the neighbours don't disagree. That to me is a very, very wide statement. You know,
anyway,
neighbours disagree, but they still go ahead with planning.
I'm talking on this specific one. I think it should be for all councillors, and have a special meeting next Monday.
I don't know if
I disagree with that really, because next Monday is the 20th, and it's closing date is 22nd, David, if I'm correct.
I think so. Yeah, it will be 22nd.
I don't know whether you're going to extend it.
I'll go find out who's looking after it, who it is,
If we insist it goes to the planning commission.
we'll shoot it to pieces and find out just
You don't have to insist, we'll just request.
Yes.
There'll be an officer that looks after it and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
won't go forward then.
So, all right, and so if you do that, if you can do that, if you want a meeting,
Don't say that.
I'll get it.
I know what you're thinking about with 3 days notice and all this sort of rubbish.
The legal, no, it's not rubbish, you've got to have a legal meeting, haven't
I'll get on to that tomorrow.
Yeah. So if you can get back to.
you? Could I appeal to all councillors to read, go on the site, if you can't get on the site, come up to the office and read the planning application. So when we come to discuss it, we understand that there's some points that are detrimental to even the present supermarket's operation.
So, as I said, I'm not against it. So, any other planning issues? Okay, noted. Reports and questions, payment schedule.
Noted.
Is there anything? The one thing I want to bring up at this was there was an emergency purchase done. All councillors were informed last week about the tarmacking, or the week before last, wasn't it?
Yes.
That money will come out, or
Was it done?
it's done, it's quite good.
Quite good, right?
It's very
good. Hey, quite good.
Don't seem to be any problems, everything's fine. They did a good job, did it as and when they said. That money will just use it as an overrun, or it may come out of the building reserve. We do put money aside of it, things like that.
Okay.
And just for people's interest, it's created an extra space for us, the office, and it's created 2 extra spaces for the clinic by just moving that section in there. Just for you.
But it won't be 2 extra spaces for police, because they're going to be all this damn great wagon in, so
Well,
they'll probably get 2 places.
that wagon's been here now for about the last month. It depends how they park it.
I've
Yeah.
got that in twice last week.
So payment schedule noted. Noted. Update on neighbourhood plan.
Oh. Update on neighbourhood plan. Have you all had the paperwork? Can I first point out the words on sections 1 through to 3 are exactly the same wording as what was in the book. There's no changes. So I'd like to formally move those tonight, so we can put that to bed and we don't have to revisit it. Can I have a second for that?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Josie and I think
You can't declare it, so-
I can't.
You wanted a second for what
Yeah.
did you say?
Sections 1 through
One
to
to
3.
three.
Right.
It will be presented in a different manner because that was a book that's going to the public, this is the report. The 2 maps are, those 2 maps will go to the, within this section. We're going to vote on.
Just as a query, I mean, on here we have this island that you're planning on thinking about creating to.
That is in the transport section, we'll come to that.
Okay. Excellent.
Right.
We've got saying you're going to all in favour?
1 to 3.
1 to 3. 1 to 3 now. Yeah, 1 to 3.
Have you got the supplementary question? Section 4, there's section 4, the bit that was sent out after the event. That's the amended one, is it? No, it's the, I sent a sheet out on a latter one with the amendments. It went out late on Friday.
Yes, there's 3 amendments on it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. 2 of them's wording and 1 additional. This is section 4. Unfortunately, we've had the publication of the Greasley figures, so we now know exactly what we've got to do from outside the boundary, because it's a joint. From the local plan, there's the 1250 that's we've always been planning for. That has made that we've pulled out a lot of the sites that were speculative. The small sites are first of all listed, which we've had no particular comments about. Those shows the maps through, like the fire station, the old police station. This is a new one. Wasn't happened prior to the consultation, but it can be used now. It's now vacant.
It says, while we're talking about it, it says on your first amendment, page 3, paragraph 6, and I can't find it here. It is essential that the fire and ambulance station must be kept in Eastwood.
Yeah.
But the medical centre is now closed and looks like, no, is that? It looks
The
like
word-
being rented out. Is
It's
that what you're
being
saying?
rented, so it's...
Now, the problem with that, it's full of asbestos. That's why they have to go out of it. So, nobody's going to rent it while it's in that state. That's
No.
a fact. It needs to be flattened.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is that site would be a prime site for a sort of development in an L shape overlooking the park. I think those would be quite...
Got back onto a fire station.
Well,
Oh, yes, please.
Down.
Exactly.
no, but those are sort of the locate. It's always say location, location, location. I think we've got at least 2 locations there that tick a lot of boxes for people wishing to take property. The other ones in that section, a lot of them are actually now sitting with planning permission. So as you work through the document, it's got planning permission. Then we come to a controversial one, or in process. C and D are in applications at the present moment. That's Stepping Stones and the TDC engineering factory. They are sitting at the moment with a planning application in. Not been granted.
That's not yet.
But it's, so I've used the numbers of the application. I'm not dealing with that application. It's good or not, because I need something to, the numbers.
The stepping stones one that's been resubmitted, changes, isn't it?
Yeah. We then come to the problem area, that the ex-Lincroft school site.
Yeah.
Although I live local to this, I still feel that we need the right answer of that particular. The county council have given drawings out that you can see from the fact, from the map, that they're suggesting 200 properties on that site.
More rabbit touchers, rabbit pens like it
Well,
down
this-
Langley Mill.
Andrew, please carry on. The main problem with that is there's a bit of land that's now landlocked because you can't get access to it, which is the end of the new playing field for Lawrence View. There's several embankments on there which are the gradient 1 in 1, which I feel that trying to put a road up it or a build on it, you would have to spend an awful lot of money.
You know, when they were here, the county council, those 3 girls or 4 girls that came here to talk about changing it from an old people's home and bungalows to a school, because they got the grant that needed to be used by April from REN, which everybody agreed with, which was a good move. And I queried then the land, what are they going to do? and what they will do is sell it.
Oh, yeah.
It will be sold to a builder or whomever, and county council will then say it's nothing to do with us, and we need to get that established before they have this option to sell it, because they're going to wash their hands, they're going to do a Caesar job, not my problem, and it is their problem. And that land, as far as I'm concerned, should be left as a part of the green space for Eastwood people. And I've always said it, and I notice now that they've moved the fencing up off one of the up to the top end. So things are happening, and you say it's landlocked. They'll buy a house and knock it down. They will have no problem in getting there. The only problem that I see, if it does get built, is that everything will come out onto Lincroft from that nursery, and it can't happen. We've got a school now that they've come out right on the corner, and it's chaos now on Walker Street, and the entrance makes it right on the bend. You know, this is planning gone mad.
I do think
and people ask me when I walk around, what's happening on our land behind us? I live on wherever, and I say, as far as I'm concerned, they're going to sell it off and probably will build on it, and it will be a problem. And once you start building on it, you'll get tarmac, concrete, water. Where does it go?
Straight down the bottom.
It's down to the people on the road.
Long anyway, isn't it?
It is. I agree
If
with
you're going to
Councillor
reject that
Bradshaw. I
site,
just
I
don't
can't
think it
get
should be
numbers.
built on. And it's not built on.
So all I'm saying is, you need to get onto this county council before they flog it off, wash the hands of it, saying nothing to do with us, because that's what they intend doing. They're going to make as much money as they can out of it.
We're talking not particularly the county council. If we get the neighbourhood plan right,
But we shouldn't need the numbers.
One at a time, please.
get the neighbourhood plan right, it's then the county council have to build properties or do with that land as per the neighbourhood plan. They've got to still go, or the developer, whoever owns the land, has to get it through planning permission. The best way of safeguarding that is through a neighbourhood plan. If you're intending that I've got to rethink and think that particular site comes out, I've got to find, should I carry on what out my, the additional numbers from somewhere else? We've now got proper spatial mapping software. By using that, I've worked out what flat area site they've got, that they can physically build on, which is 24,100 square metres. If you do the calculation on what a plot of land should be, to keep it so it's not like private houses, but is decent plots, I also think we should put a specification on the side that the bridge height shouldn't be any higher than the present school. So you're talking bungalows on that side. Otherwise you have overbearing present on the houses round. You also should put in a rule as regards you don't have houses within a certain distance of the houses, which I've put in the thing as a 40-metre rule. And that's to their boundary, from house to boundary. It brings the numbers down to what is listed on the document, which is around about, we're talking about 90 to 120 houses, not the 200 that we're talking about. And that would have to do some land clearance, because there's a pinch point in the middle. I think 90 is the better one to go for.
Bungalows.
In bungalows only.
Yeah.
Or we take the site completely out and try to find somewhere else for that 90. The end of the game is that this neighbourhood plan will pass an inspector. If we're short on numbers, it won't.
So as we stand today, sections, housing sections meet the requirements of the
Plus a few more.
board.
Should go on, there's the flat area, which is landlocked. You'd only get about 6 houses or 7 houses in there. If we have the same 40 metre rule. There isn't a large number to buy a house. I think that line's going to land up being open space. I don't think it's deliverable. You've then got the flat area that will hold Walker Street school site, which is left, that should be left for the extra care housing and all the users, and not housing put on, general housing on that area, because we do need some extra care. That's the top tier. You can't connect the 3 tiers together. So that's the controversial one. The final one is the down at Nether Green. When we went to consultation, the site I'm talking about is the site between Eastwood Hall and the A610. At the present moment, that's half of that site, half of it has got planning permission.
That's where you want to run the bypass.
But there is a section of land there that could have a considerable number of houses on. We haven't had words with the people who own land at all, which have got to take place. But that would then give us the numbers to make out that we should. There is a planning inspector's document that we have downloaded for that site. And the reason he only allowed the industrial units at the 610, it was deep on large, high industrial units overpowering Eastwood Hall. I think houses will meet that, or even bungalows. Yeah, it could be a mix to stagger it through. With the new road in, I believe that is a commercially viable site for development.
In what's sort of core strategy, isn't that land dedicated to industry?
Yeah. It's actually
in the core strategy.
Core strategy, it's down as both.
The only thing that we all must be aware of, if that does go ahead, the industrial side of it, and houses, and all the bypass, that there must be no right turn for the industrial units to go there. They must be a left-hand turn onto 610, not to go the other way.
I'll cover that in the transport section.
Because you don't want them taking...
We're going to cover the road and transportation.
Yes. So I'm doing this time, this point is purely the housing.
Okay.
If you care to look at the tables, which was supplied with table 1 and table 2, that gives you the breakdown. I think you've got them.
Once they go and catch it, you might give it away, you're alright.
Table 1, table 2 are basic, well, table 1 is what actually has been built already. Remember, those numbers comes off our total, all being built. Section 2 is what's got planning permission, and section over the page, the next one over is, which one you actually, no, the one you're looking at. So, yeah, that is the ones without planning permissions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Greasley has actually numbered in their scheme both sides of Beamlight in their totals.
Right. Okay.
One side is, of course, in Eastwood. That's why there's at the bottom of that page, there's the minus numbers to, because you can't have it created on both sides. I draw that up, or drew that up, discounting the Greasley beam light site, but including the Eastwood one. Then looking at their figures again closely, cross-checking, with both claiming the same total. So you see at the bottom it actually is a plus on that.
Actually, the other side is not being like, it's being like it's only on one side.
Ah, yeah.
That's the Eastwood transport, isn't it?
Well, I think people have,
You can't get planning permission from people, I think they've done all that,
they've got planning permission already.
haven't they?
Yeah.
On the lower half of it.
Yes, they've got planning permission, but I'm just on a building. Are they building?
No, well, that's their,
Clearing it, aren't they?
That's good, no, it works out. There was road signs put up and they were going to close the road off and do the road, but something stopped them doing that.
Yeah.
And they've now got a water cabin on there and they're doing more checks. I think they're going to have trouble with the methane on there, so
but the 40 outside
it should be okay.
should be okay. And that's a Greasley issue.
Yeah.
They didn't seem to want our vision. So I'm just moving ahead. Could I formally move with the amendment, section 4?
First, vote, second,
Yeah.
got opposed to it, second, all in favour? Yeah, that's on to, Sue said you vote for it, otherwise.
I've left mine. I can probably put it on the screen.
Right, well, before you go any further, if any, I'm sitting here thinking about these guys are here, just thinking about how it's always hard.
I can put them on the screen.
No, but it's available for anybody who wants to have a look at it.
Yeah, it's not.
You have to get it on the old. If you want to have a look at what Bob's producing, you're more than welcome to come and get to
Yeah, carry on. With the non-controversial one, section 5.1 is to do with rail. And it's exactly the same wording as what was in the book, that we welcome the Ilkeston station, want Langford station to be upgraded. 5.2 City Town Centre tram. The big tram section has now been totally removed because Greasley want to put housing on tip side. As I say, I'm not making comments.
Back in still.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
So I don't think it's practical, but it's for them to have the battles with the inspector.
They'd have to get the environment to give them permission on there, but
Yeah.
that's never happened because the environment did.
No. So all what we're saying now is the tram line, not through New Eastwood, but it could, if anywhere, it would be kissing the through Eastwood, it would be the adjacent to the 610 on the western side. There is, most of that route is actually either roads or things that can be realigned. That's all what's mentioned about the tram. There's no other thing about the tram at all, other than through it now. 5.3 is explaining that a little bit more. 5.4 is exactly the same wording as we used before about the buses. Those bus operators need supporting. That is the main transport thing. 5.5, it's a section to do with the reasons what the transport problems around Nuttall and the community of Nottingham. There's got to be an answer down and Nuttall to improve capacity.
Where's the B600 bridge in Nuttall?
B600?
The one goes right over the top and every pond.
All right.
That's bridge there. You either got that route or the main junction of the motorway. They're the only two routes you can cross that's usable. If you go further south, the next one's Trowell, and north is the road to Hucknall. There's the only ways of crossing the M1. Crossing the M1. There's footroads other than that, but for vehicle access, they're their own ones.
Not all, with the road, just widen the road thing, and then they've blocked it all off.
Right, so that's section 5.5. What could be controversial is section 5.6, which is the A608. This is your point. It's to put the bypass in. There would be an island. There's already an island on A610, which has been put in. There's an island put in at 608, Nether Green, just as it was before it enters Brinsley. Then you'd have two islands along that route, one for the industrial and one for the housing.
There was already a concrete road there.
All the land for the road is on
That concrete road doesn't go all the way around, by the way. You do have the asphalt, it goes on to tip side.
Yeah, it goes on to the tip side.
It's only to start is concrete.
Okay, thank you.
But prior to that, it was the footings of the railway embankment and the railway line. The ownership of the two parcels of land either with the developers of the tip site or one other owner. We know those owners, we've done traces on the ownership. They both are owned by companies, and we will be trying to contact them to talk over what our proposals are with those companies.
Right, I'm going to come in now. It says that this road gets congested with standing traffic. I cross it every day from 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Very rare does you have standing traffic. Traffic moves up there. Very rare that it gets as far. I've seen it probably in the last months going down to Coach Drive.
It goes up to Breed, it goes up to the back, but bear in mind I live on the road.
I'm bearing in mind I cross on the road every day, and it doesn't back up as far that it doesn't get moved and it moves.
One of the main problems is that when they change the traffic lights at the top,
I'm going to minute. I'm trying to say something, you just put it in.
Do we have one at the time?
You can say after.
David, can you continue?
Can we
Yes, and you please.
So, to me, you're going to force people to go round and not into Eastwood. What happens to Cocker House Lane? Because that's in your plan, the Cocker House Lane would have to be widened.
No, that's the draft.
All right. So Cocker House Lane is now off it?
Totally.
Right. I talked to somebody yesterday who said he just moved into the farmhouse there, and he said, are they still coming past my farm? I said, oh, as far as I know where they are, yeah.
No,
that's
and who was going to build this bypass? Because you put in it, is it something that you're going to put in a plan that is fictitious, or is it something you're going to put in a plan that we've got people who are prepared to build it, because it can just sit there, you know? So people come from Brinsley and I'm going to have to shoot off down to the 610.
No.
The road from will still be open, 608 will still be open for, because the idea of the bypass, right, recently was to take any heavy traffic coming up through here and any through traffic through. People still want to go into Eastwood, come into Eastwood, doctors, dentists, Morrison's or whatever, will still be allowed. It's
Up Mansfield Road.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
I think
the idea was though to stop through traffic and some of the wagons that come through, and that's why I said earlier on, I jumped the gun a bit. If they do that industrial estate there, there's no right turn for lorries, vans. They have to go to the 610 out of the new industrial estate.
when you're talking about a road, you're talking millions to do that.
Yes.
Yes.
Millions.
Yeah. It might work, it might not. So you're looking at the guy who's going to build all the houses from sitting somewhere, and you've got the county council sitting somewhere.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
So, just to reiterate, make it very clear, is the western bypass we're talking about, along the island at Nether Green, which will be the choice of either coming up to Eastwood or going along the new bypass.
Right.
There were two intermediate islands, one for the industrial and one for the housing, keeping the traffic separate. And then you'll land up onto the new island that is already there on the A610.
Yeah.
The whole of the track should be stable because it was a railway, so you should be on firm ground. I went into detail about the ownership. Before we submit this, I want to have discussions with those landowners to see whether it is a goer. But at this stage, we haven't had those discussions. Now, the next section is car parking. And this is actually reiterating what the point is about that we do need car parking. And we need it changed to an hour, all the car parking in town. Because it's, at the moment, it's mixed.
Well,
And this is the wording from the draft. No change.
Sorry, Chair, coming in again. It says, as for public car parks, the first hour is free, yeah?
That's Vauxhall one, yeah.
Yes. But they are free after 4 now, as well as.
Yeah.
So that needs to be in there to make sure people are aware that that's in there.
The others,
You know, you get an hour free, but you get free parking
after 4 but the other thing is, when we had that meeting with Matt Backstrom, we suggested that to make it 2 hours free, first 2 hours free. Could we suggest that?
The problem is that you're looking at it and working at it, and the problem is getting people in for car parking. It's very simple. It is a problem that we have. Hilltops alters it, haven't they?
Yeah.
They now get.
But I was just, sorry.
Go on.
Okay.
So, but we have to have these parking availability for the public to come in and park and go to shops. A lot of this, well, not a lot, but some car parking areas are taken up by the people who own the shops, which prevents other people parking. So we have to provide for them as well. Somewhere or other, you've got to suit everybody, so we can have Eastwood being competitive with the other towns around.
Presently, we've got 2 car parks that are designed for long stay, which is the Sunday and Oxford Street.
Yep.
And all the rest we need to have the traffic turning round at a regular interval so you can get people in.
So as a forethought, instead of building, let's knock the cop shop down and create a car park. What a brilliant way to create a car park for Eastwood Town.
Other than I would like to keep the Victorian face.
It's fine. Just say the rules of the book. I'm not saying no more. Right, but can I come in now?
Yes.
The half an hour, when it'll talk about the hour, how long do that exercise in Eastwood at that point, and put it to the shops in Eastwood that they have now. They didn't want it. The shopkeepers didn't want it.
Really?
Yeah. That's what all I'm saying. I mean, this might be
Not to worry.
this.
I wasn't aware of that. Hey, when Hilltop got this, probably about a year ago, right, and Charlie Rock did the exercise at Eastwood, right, the shopkeepers did not want it. Now the public may, that's a different kettle of fish, right, but at that point, it came up that they didn't want it, the shopkeepers wanted it, whereas at Hilltop they did.
For what reason didn't they want it?
Because it was holding the car park for longer.
They wanted bigger footfall.
Yeah, they wanted more footfall.
That'd be agreed.
Appreciate that, but they wanted all the time.
It is important that we try to get all the car parking similar.
I don't disagree.
Yes.
Right, anyway, Ken?
Can I say that you put a point in on Wellington Street car parking area for residents, permit holders only. If you walk down there in the daytime, there'll be 4 cars in there, most all day.
Yeah.
So therefore, we took a lot of car parking out of Eastwood for residents parking permit holders. And I've also noted that 1 or 2 cars with a permit on that's allowed in there are parking on the street anyway. There's a car park there being wasted.
Someone I checked on this, was someone made a complaint from that.
Yeah.
In the designated spots, there are, what do you call them, permits handed out for individuals. So you can't suddenly say, you can't park here anymore, you pass these permits out. The fact that you're not using the car park.
Well, you don't use it, then you lose it.
But it's wasted.
Really shouldn't it?
It's wasted car parking.
It can't be that true, then.
Yeah.
That's
Andrew?
Just going back to the police station, are they moving the blue lantern to here?
Yeah.
To here, all right.
Right, go on.
I just thought, I knew I heard somebody saying they're going to move it.
It's been there about 3 months.
Has it?
And it's, I'll remind you, it's going to be illuminated, so you might be able to see it.
The car park on the, I call it the welfare, it's the snooker club. That never seems to be full to its full potential, because I use it quite often.
It's very rare that I quite agree with that.
It should be highlighted. I mean, and now the bank's shut it on Friday, with a lot of people use it to go to the bank. It won't so people know.
I think a lot of people don't know that little car park's there.
Yeah,
that's down by the cross centres, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure whether that's signpost, you know.
Well, there is a sign opposite.
Yeah, but you've got to go down the street.
No, there's actually one on the
Nottingham Road.
I don't know whether it says car park on it.
I think it should be, isn't it?
As we talk of car parks, just for everybody's interest, you might be aware or not aware, there's a bit of land at the back of Diamond Nails that used to be open for people to park in. It's not anymore. Permanent parking only, right, unless you're a resident of the flats and you have a ticket. If you don't get a ticket, it's £100 fine. And there's 8 signs in there, tells you exactly that. It's private land. Behind Sweet Memories, there's a little gangway there.
Oh, right.
And, quite a few in there. Anyway, move on, please.
The next section is to do about walking into town. From the transport survey that you got done, the amount of people that actually, is the majority of people actually walk into town rather than by car or the means. So we need to protect the footpaths. We also suggest in the local plan that if the house is done on the green side, that there's a footbridge through to Mansfield Road so they can walk up into town, and also into Hall Park, so there's land, and also on Lynn Cross side there's a footpath put from, there's already a footpath through Townfield Garden. Through that open land, this could be a another footpath up through the estate to do additional ones to one that's on now. So those should be put in and protected, all our footpaths. We'll have to do a footpath review sometime, because some of the footpaths are not actually on the county map, I noticed. The one at the top of Moorfield to Grange isn't listed.
Right.
So, but it's there and it's used. So we just need to make sure that that is one of our powers to do it. And the other is that it's very simple. There's a cycleways. There is no cycleways in Eastwood at all.
Yeah, of course they do.
That doesn't say that there shouldn't be proper cycleways to get cycling correctly.
Can I just ask you a question? Is the road wide enough to include cycleway?
The way
Stands now.
No. Where I suggested the pavements are wide enough, it's on the wide section of the pavements. The other ones are on the road cycleways. The roads are wide enough to cycleway on that particular section of road.
You do surprise me. They widen the pavements when they put the blue line in, isn't it?
I'm not talking about any cycleway through the centre of the town.
All the way around there.
It's all the way around the outskirts of the town, like showing the map. And it's all the flat routes round. Yeah. So, can we move forward on section 5, transport?
Second. All in favour? Okay. Done.
The final section is to do with non-retail employment, section 6. This is more or less a rerun of what was in the draft. The words are more or less identical, other than putting in the section 6.1, which are the 3 units with planning permission down at Nevergreen. The proposal at Meadowbank Way is to remodel the slipway, not the A610, the slipway, to produce an in and out, and close off Old Derby Road. That, with having the new island on the A610 further up, it means that traffic can get in and out of Meadowbank
without causing congestion.
Yes.
It's not going to be blocked off totally, is it?
No, it's
Just juvenile.
the HEVs.
Apart from the dustbin,
Because if people go there to go to the post office, sorting office to collect parcels,
Yeah.
and also you've got to think of emergency services.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they can get back up and bypass, can't
No,
It will add. If they go down the bypass up and round and get back into Meadowbank, it's going to take them another 5 minutes going through there.
no. The plan is not to, is to stop it from using the lorries,
Yeah.
that's passing people's doors and causing. And we've always said that the plan has been for a long while to try to cut that traffic from using Old Derby Road in the residential area into the industrial area. With what's happened, there's now a possibility of forcing that industrial traffic onto the A610.
I thought they'd have done that, but that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
So I've formally proposed that. That's
Second. All in favour?
The other sections will be brought to council in November, December.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bob. I don't know if whether anybody chatting to the members of the public while Bob is doing that. If anybody wants to see this document, then they're quite willing to, more than welcome to come in and just have a look. And we will answer questions as you may. Okay. Uplet and banking arrangements.
Well, councillors, as we all, at the previous meeting, we agreed that because of the closure of NatWest, it has been decided to transfer our accounts to the TSB. This report's an update on the process that's going on at the moment. We're still working with NatWest to pay our bills, etc., but we are in the process of doing the transfer to TSB, and this report gives you that information.
Note report. It's not going as smooth as we would like it to, by the way. Statements and reports on the town clerk.
Right, the first one is the Mayor's Christmas Civic Service. We've got a report there. Basically, the programme's ongoing. We are in the process of putting everything together. Civic teams have all been organised and invited, and there will be after the service a buffet in the parish room, which I hope Councillor Poxer will help us out to organise.
Sorry?
The buffet.
Sorry.
The buffet of the Christmas civic service. We need obviously to organise something for that particular event.
Was it the church?
Yes. Yes.
The church.
Yeah.
The church.
Yeah.
People will do teas and coffees.
Yeah, we'll just do.
We provide the
Yeah.
buffet.
Yeah.
So that is also an open invitation to others as well, and for us. You'll be there.
There one or two councillors that have wondered why I put this in on the actual paperwork. I did previously send this out to you. It's basically what it is, it's Notts County Council doing a consultation before they go to budget. And I felt it was a good opportunity for any councillor here to make any view they want to express about county council work, and whether we want to make any comments about any aspect of the county council's work that we need to sort of get increased budget money for. I do know the last week they had announced that there's going to be, I think it was 25 million on road repairs. I might be wrong on that figure, but certainly quite a high figure for road repairs. But I just wonder whether any council, if any comments I'd like to make about the county council and its work that we can mention to the county council before they carry their budget.
Can we have those in writing, please? It makes it a lot easier than Chris tried to type it all out tonight. So if you've got any issues or you want any comments, can you please put it in writing? Sorry, Bob.
Okay, the next one is the hours that we're going to be closing at the Christmas New Year, the New Year. And the dates are from the 1 o'clock on Thursday the 21st of December, reopening on the 3rd of January. And we will have an emergency numbers in place while we're at.
We have one meeting, please.
Thank you.
Yeah. The Hollies and Iceland car park one, who's been put in by Councillor Charlie Robb, he's rang up today and he's sick, unfortunately, and he's asked for that item to be taken off and added to the next meeting's agenda.
Noted.
Okay, noted. Right, reports from Town Council. I have one. Christmas lights thing. It looks like we've had the old lights put back up then on the sunny end. They will be poor again this year, I'm afraid. We've been chasing Mr. Delaney with no real effect, and it's going to be. So it looks like we've got the old lights again.
After being guaranteed them by Shane.
Yeah, I noticed that when I walked around.
Yeah, the lights again are.
Why have we spent all this money?
We haven't actually paid all that money up front of you, Bob.
No. No, we haven't paid them.
And I think whatever money that we've got left and that we owe them, we don't pay them.
Is he definitely coming on that night to walk the street?
Well, Chris has asked him to approach us and have a walk round
Yeah.
when the lights are switched on or before the lights switched on.
Yeah.
So if we can arrange that, any of you, especially you, Dave, because you're really into this, so if any of you want to walk round with him and point it out, you'll please come along and have your £2 worth.
Could we not have it done before the switch on?
Well, it has been suggested.
But he said after the switch on, he did in his email.
Yeah, he wants to do it after
Yeah, I
the
know,
switch on.
I've read the email.
Yeah.
David.
Chair, just a question to you. You mentioned our town council. When the lights switch on, we mentioned the lights that are not going to be good. We're pre-warning people that are going to be good, which is not good. Fireworks. Do the fireworks not now go from the old school side? Is that where they set them off? Well, we've got a new school there now.
No, it's
Won't be, that land before it.
it's the land before it.
Can we still use that?
Yeah, they're still there at this moment in time, David.
Yeah, I believe that's where they're going to be from.
Yeah.
You know the Christmas tree, well, not Christmas tree lights, but the Christmas lights, can you not buy them yourself and put them up? Have it got to be done through them?
Through that, or through you've got to have a proper contractor.
There's all health and safety issues there. That's all it's not a good report, I'm sorry, but I just thought I'd mention it. They are, the lights at the sunny end are going to be important, so hopefully we won't get too many complaints, but...
Can I make a formal proposal that the new light section of the budget is held in abeyance till this council approves it?
Yeah, I've got great, yeah. Second, Ken. Yeah, all in favour? Yeah, it's going to be unanimous.
You know the money he has had, has he said he's spent that
I
on
don't-
lights or?
We don't know.
Yeah, he sent an email out, he should have got it.
He said in that email that all the lights have been repaired.
It does.
Yeah.
The money wasn't given for repair, the money was given for new equipment. Over a rolling 3-year programme.
Well, I suggest it all happened.
I'm going to say, we haven't been charged yet, that's what it's going to cost. But we haven't been charged.
I think I've probably seen it actually.
Okay, matter concerning the Borough Council. Go see Dave, anything?
Not particularly. I don't know if everybody's aware, but the Borough Council's having a big investigation at the moment, costing a lot of money, and we can't get a sight of what this investigation. No reports are forthcoming. The majority group, i.e. the Conservatives, are refusing to give us a report, even to their own side, by the way. So we're in a bit of a cleft stick on Borough at the moment. Another point for myself, I'm particularly involved with the Victory Club and that development there, because a member of Eastwood, well, he came to see one or two of us. He came here, in actual fact, and I took up the challenge with him, and it's been very interesting. The guy knows what he's talking about. I've been up to planning. We've had planning people down. Hopefully now, they have him sorted out. They hired one of the buildings about 2 foot or 3 foot because the highways insisted that the water flow, they got to hire it. Never tell him. They just don't talk to people. They just do it. And you know, suddenly he's got a window that's overlooking his property because it's high, 2 foot. So they don't think, oh well, we need to look at this. We've sorted it. We've had him a wall built. He's gained a little bit of land. We've put a fence on top of it. And today I'm talking with the site manager, reference the wall, the concrete wall up at footpath 26, I do believe it's called. There has been a decision that it is the landowner's responsibility to take it down and put a new fence up. I still don't think they can believe it, but it's been done officially by Notts County Council and Building Management. And I sent them an email today to say that that's what's been decided. It's all proven that it is their responsibility. So hopefully, because they started building the houses now, that will be done. But I don't think you will get a concrete fence up. You'll get a rail and post fence. I'm sure they'll do it for a cheap option, but at least it will be
better than it is now.
Yeah, better than it is now.
Dangerous at the moment.
And I think that's
David, can I just ask you one question? What happened to the trees?
What trees?
What they chopped down?
Well, I do know. I actually do know what happened to the trees. On their landscaping plan, when it originally came in, and I don't know if you saw it because you look at these things, don't you? Those trees were to remain.
Correct.
And when they got the lads in chopping them down, I got a phone call from my contact. Get up here quick, and you can't stop a guy with a chainsaw swinging through the trees chopping as they come down here. Their official reason was that they had an arborist or whoever, whatever his title was, to come in and look at the trees, who said that within 10 years these trees will have decayed. They're at a state now that they won't last all that longer. So their advice was, suited them, their advice was to cut them down. They have to plant new trees. They are going to plant at least 4 new trees along that boundary. It upset one of the old ladies there, and she was very tearful about it, quite right so. So the trees have gone, they've grubbed about, nothing you can do about that now, but they are going to plant trees, and they're not going to plant whips, they're going to plant trees of at least 3 or 4 metres high, decent trees. Unfortunate part is it will take them 10 years to mature, and I'll probably just see it. I don't know about you, but so that will be the plan. They are going to put at least 4 trees in to replace the ones that they grubbed out.
Okay. Anything else? No.
Well, I don't know whether you heard me say earlier on that complained about there being no public toilets open yesterday, when you consider how many hundreds were there.
We've had an email on that. We had the key. Unfortunately, the way we were running around yesterday trying to get things organised, it was one of the things that just never got done. We had the key, we went and got the key.
You wanted money, really, didn't you?
Yeah. All can you all go do is
I'm waiting for a report because you also mentioned the Night of the Lies, which there's a lot of people in.
Yes, I've seen the same email. I've suggested to Chris that next year we contact this gentleman, asking if he wants to be a road marshal or a toilet attendant. I'm joking about the toilet attendant, asking if he wants to be a road marshal. It's what went off Sunday. It was a good display. It was a good turnout. Thanks everybody, those who did the road marshalling, did a good job. A lot of public there. Unfortunately, you just slipped by, and that's the crutch of it. It's no excuse. We made a mistake. We've got the key, but we just forgot to go and open the door. So I apologise for that. On Christmas light switch on, that won't happen.
So you're going to open it on that night?
If we can get permission to open them up. But as you're quite rightly right, they ought to be manned really. But Sunday was an oversight. It was unfortunately just, he was running around like a headless chicken trying to get chairs and everything else, and he just went out of his head. I'm sorry. That's all I can do is apologise. David?
Yeah, just an opportunity that you just mentioned, the remembrance service and the people who attended, and I have to have my congratulations, and I will say to Bob and all you that helped him, well done.
Very good.
I've suggested, I've had a chat with Bob and I've talked, we've suggested that we have, like they do on a Christmas light switch on, have a cool down meeting. Next year, everybody's aware, it's 100 years. It's going to be a big event, so we need everybody chipping in everywhere and everywhere. It's going to be a big event, so we need to be aware of that. And I think what we ought to do here is have a cool down meeting or get some information off the road marshals if they can't make the meeting, or anybody else wants to attend, just to put some food in so we can improve on the little mishaps and slip-ups what happened this year.
Yeah, I think you need a cool-down meeting.
Yeah.
Can we have an item on the December meeting, because we've got to start the planning for next year prior to budget setting in February. And I thought if we have an item on the December meeting, we can discuss then how we intend to go forward.
Yeah.
Because it's no good coming around in March and saying, well, we better get something organised in November, and you've already set the budget.
No,
because things like that don't happen without
we need to allocate money for that. I agree with Bob. We have a second for that. All in favour, that goes on. All in favour, right? Anything else, mate? Matt's concerned with the County Council. I've had apology from the County Councillor. He picked up a flu bug. He's probably kissing you.
I want kissing me.
It's
a conservative, you know.
No.
I sort of kiss a conservative.
He sends his apologies and he's unable to attend, so matters of County Council will just wipe off that one. Okay.
Just to mention too, because we've mentioned the money that they're proposing to put in on potholes and wherever, and for many years now we've been talking about it. When you come down Lincroft at the top end, it's like riding a switchback. And this hole, we keep chucking a bit of tar back in it, and you're there you go.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It needs to be addressed, and it must be 4 years now that we've been on about it. Nothing ever gets done about it. You just go up and down, bang your car.
Sorry, you were sitting there shaking your head. Top of I'll go down Lincroft a lot. Top end of Lincroft, it's pothole. Well, not pothole. The road is actually sunk.
It does.
Yeah. Do you think it needs resurfacing altogether rather than filling
No,
in?
right from Duffield Road, right from Duffield Road all the way down to number 57. That road's terrible. Yeah, Robert.
You said there was a large amount of money, 25 million, but if you actually work out how many roads you've got, kilometres of roads, just in Rockstone, 25 million might be a few pence per metre spent
But
per road.
it's not only that. I was with Councillor Harper Saturday afternoon, and I took him across to Wellington Court, and some of the roads that have been repaired there, they've got a hole, they've got tarmac, slung it in and stood on it. Basically,
Yeah,
the repairs are terrible.
Do you think the repairs are not being done correctly?
No, they're not being done.
Definitely not.
He actually pointed it out, so I've raised that matter with him in that area. So, okay. Yeah. I need to
Moving to food.
I've done it.
No. Sorry, exclusion.
Yeah. Exclusion of public and press under section 100A of the Local Government Act 1962. Public and press can be excluded from the meeting for the following items of business on grounds that involve likely disclosure of sensitive information as defined in paragraphs 1 and 9, schedule 12A of the Act.